the reason I decided to start talking in front of a camera um, is because I feel like I have a story worth sharing. And before all this, I was on social media doing fitness stuff and whatever. I had good physique and, was just posting, but I never really had a story. I never really had something, that I could, present to people and they get value from it. A lot of my content, just was just average, and I'm not average. I don't want to be average. And I just know that's not who I am. Um, but people don't know that. People only know what I show them. And I always got so mad. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm not getting the engagement that I want, whatever. People don't know the real me and all these things. And it's like people don't know you. They don't actually know you. So I feel like it's my job to actually, you know, um, show you who I really am. Because who I really am, I truly believe that I will impact hopefully thousands, hopefully millions, because my whole life I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and I never really knew how I was going to do that. All I knew was that I just wanted to be a source of someone that, when I talk to them and they listen to me, then after that they believe that they can do anything that they want. And I want to give that hope to people, just because I never really had that growing up, and it doesn't have to be that way, you know? So, yeah, always wanted to be a motivational speaker, but didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't have a story, grew up in Colorado. I'm just some guy, honestly. Um, and oh my God, my whole life, I knew that I had to serve a higher purpose. I just didn't know how to execute it. So every time I stood in front of a camera, I didn't really know what to say, because I'm not gonna, talk about like what's popular and whatever, and just like chase what's trending, whatever. Like I want to be genuine and authentic, and I want to be real. Like I want people to actually connect with me, and I want to connect with them. That's the goal. So, with that being said, like I said, I didn't know how to do that, but now I do, because I went through something that was very detrimental to my life and was very eye opening. So there's gonna be a lot of pauses like in between my sentences, just because I'm still kind of getting used to talking on camera. But that's part of being genuine and being honest. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not afraid to fail, and I feel like you know people understand. Um, People understand, and when you're actually real with someone and you can tell that they're genuine and they're being vulnerable, then I feel like that gives them an opportunity to open up back to you. And that's where real connections are made. And my whole life, I've just been, I don't know, not like a loner, but I've never really gotten along well with certain people or, individual groups. I kind of just did my own thing, can connect with me, because I know I'm not the only person out there that feels this way. I know that. And I've always wanted to be someone that someone could look up to. When I was a kid, I went through a lot of hard stuff. And during those hard times, all I wanted was someone to tell me that it's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. And someone to just sit down with me and say, like everything that you're going through, it's going to pass. You're going to be okay. And I never really had that. Um, so, I mean, it kind of sounds dumb, but if I could be that person, for other people that I never had, then I know I can die happy. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I don't really care what comes along with it. I'm not really chasing wealth or materialistic things or clout. I really just I just really want to enjoy the process and the journey, and I know that good things will come my way. I just know that. I'm gonna be talking a lot about like manifestation. Um, I might dip into some religious stuff, but yeah, I guess like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to like what to talk about. And I know I'll figure it out. I know I'll figure it out. Um, so yeah, um, I want people to know that it's okay to make mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes, and that's why I'm trying to turn my life around. I like I said, I never really knew what to say when I was talking on camera because I never really had a testimony. I didn't have a story. I didn't have, any, real life experience that could provide value to people. So that's what was ultimately holding me back. I know that's not an excuse, I still could have started, but I just didn't think it was going to be worth people's time, to be honest. Um, yeah, I was just kind of waiting, and waiting and waiting, what I needed to do in my life, to make this impact on people that I know that I'm meant to fulfill. Um, um, sorry, there's a guy behind me. So something happened to me recently that changed my life forever. Absolutely changed my life forever. Um, not only was it the worst thing, not only was it the worst thing that happened to me, but it was also the best thing that could have ever happened to me because I know that from this, all my dreams and prayers will become true. I know that for a fact. So, what possibly could have happened, that would change my life forever. Um, so I don't know how much detail I want to go into it. Um, so I guess I'll kind of keep it condensed and short as I possibly can. So, long story short, um, I was in a, um, I went to a music festival in Ohio called Lost Lands. Just went there to have fun, met up with a bunch of friends. Uh, so, was expecting to have a good time. Everything was going great. The vibes were immaculate, and this wasn't my first festival, mind you. So, yeah, everything was fine. And then second day, I was with my friends, watching a set, and I don't usually drink that much, but I'm like I'm in Ohio, I'm in a music festival, so I just had like a few mixed drinks, and then shortly after that, I started feeling really weird. And I know my limit when it comes to alcohol, especially because I don't really drink that much, and I'm like, okay, enough is enough. So yeah, with that being said, I just knew something wasn't right. I and and i i almost felt kind of scared, and there are very few times in my life where I feel scared. So I just knew whatever happened after that probably wasn't gonna be good. So like if it was just alcohol, which it wasn't, um, I should be fine. So fast forward, I tried to talk myself into like, oh, you're fine, you're just anxious or whatever, whatever. And then my friends started noticing that I was acting weird, just like wasn't okay. And then very shortly after, I blacked out. I totally blacked out. Um, Supposedly, um, I like disappeared for a little bit. And then my friends found me, and I was just like basically laying in a field, like unconscious. Um, then they were able to, like wake me up, and the med tent was, thankfully not too far away. So my friends took me there. And then when I got to the med tent, I was already in bad shape. Um, I was I was hyperventilating. I was freaking out, because when I woke up, I didn't know what was going on, and I basically went into like psychosis. Um, I've never been in psychosis before, and everything that I'm saying right now, I don't actually have any like real recollection of it, which is the scary part. But I do know that everything I'm saying is true because this is what my friends told me. It's been confirmed by the paramedics. They were there. Everyone else around me, like, people, witnesses and stuff. So, yeah, I was in bad shape when I showed up there. So they noticed I was like kind of freaking out, and they decided to give me 600 milligrams of ketamine and 600 milligrams of fentanyl. So the whole point, was to kind of like, let's chill this guy out, and just kind of just see how it rides out. Um, and that was probably the worst thing that they could have ever done. um, and it's not really their fault. I mean, it kind of is, but what happened afterwards is that I started getting like an allergic reaction to it, and I started freaking out even more. So then, um, and like I said, I was already in a state of psychosis around me, so I started having hallucinating. I started hallucinating because ketamine, makes you hallucinate. I mean, that's what it did to me, and I was already in psychosis, so I was freaking out. Didn't know what the hell was going on, and so, um, all the staff had to, um, grab me and, basically strap me down to, the lounge chair that they have people sit in, and it took like 6 or 7 staff members to actually get me to like, be in a still position, and then next thing after that, they're like, I don't know what was going on in their mind, you know, but they decided, based on how I was reacting, they should sedate me more. So then, this is the crazy part. This is the absolutely crazy part. They decided to give me double the amount of what they initially gave me. So that means on top of the 600 and fentanyl and 600 ketamine, they decided to give me 1200 fentanyl, 1200 ketamine again. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of like shaking right now. And I know that I don't really actually remember all of this, but um, what happened afterwards, once they decided to give me that second dose, once that dose hit my bloodstream, I instantly went into cardiac arrest. Instantly. So my heart stopped beating. I don't know if you know what, you know, I don't know if you know what a cardiac arrest means, but it's when you have a heart attack. So my heart literally stopped beating. And I dropped to my knees and just fucking fell face flat. And again, I don't remember anything. This is all from what the paramedics and my friends told me. So, yeah, that sucked. But there's obviously more to it. So my when I had my heart attack, they weren't able to revive me. They tried CPR 5 different times, and every single time they tried, I wasn't coming back. Wasn't coming back. So the paramedics arrived. On the way to the hospital or to the emergency room, they stuck a bag down my throat into my esophagus to get to my lungs, and they did like manual compression, like I don't know, CPR to get enough like air into my lungs or whatever. I don't know how that works. But anyways, so when you go into cardiac arrest, if you don't have oxygen to your brain, then you also don't have enough oxygen to, for the blood to get supplied to your heart. So when I got to the hospital, I was clinically dead. I was flatlined for 12 minutes. And I think on the way there they were able to revive me like once, but shortly after they lost me again. So when I got to the hospital, I was already dead. I was flatlined. Um, and then again, I don't remember. No, my friends didn't go with me into the hospital because they couldn't. But supposedly, they did have the equipment to be able to revive me. And by the grace of God, um, after so many tries, they finally got my heart to beat. I don't know how. Like that was beyond me. And yeah, that's just so crazy. I never in a million years would have thought that I would be in that situation. And I definitely learned a lot from it. Um, I spent I spent 51 days in buttfuck Ohio because I couldn't go home. I was in a medically induced coma for 31 days. 31 days. Didn't know where I was at. Didn't know anything. Had no recollection of what happened. Every time they tried to take the sedation off of me, I would start going to psychosis again. And they thought that I would have another heart attack if my blood pressure and my heartbeat got too high. So I think they could have taken me off sedation a little bit sooner. I mean, but yeah, I was. It's safe to say I was a vegetable for over 30 days, which is crazy. Like that is absolutely crazy. Um, so after those 31 days, um, for like 2 weeks, I wasn't able to talk. Well, I wasn't able to talk. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know like I obviously I knew how to talk, but the words weren't coming out of my mouth. It was just like, if you it's like a baby trying to say their first words for the first time. So that was me for the first 2 weeks out of when I came out of my coma. Um, I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't go to the bathroom on my own. So that was probably like the worst time in my life. And beyond that, what was even worse is I now have a permanent brain injury, and I might botch this, but it's a condition or non condition, but I do have permanent brain injury. It's called like an anoxic brain injury, and that means like in medical terms, it's when your brain doesn't get enough oxygen for a certain amount of time. And so when you don't have oxygen to your brain for more than 5 minutes, when you're clinically dead, then are you you permanently do have a permanent brain injury. And I was dead for 12 minutes. Um, so yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, like why I wasn't able to talk or speak or anything like that because my brain was like, "What's going on?" And yeah, it just didn't help. the fact that I just went through all that trauma and stuff. So, um, yeah, but I realized coming out of that, you know, life is way too short. Life is way too short. And, when I talked to God, um, he said, "What would you do if you had a second chance at life? What would you do if you had a second chance at life?" And then I came back. And when I was cognitive enough to remember what had happened, I realized that I need to make a lot of huge changes in my life. Not that I was a bad person or anything like that, but I was I was just going through life. I wasn't actually living. And most people just wake up and go through the day, but they don't actually live. And now, you know, with me being able to have a second chance at life, I'm going to do whatever I want. Not in a selfish way by any means, but everything that I dreamed of and aspired to be, when I was thinking about, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? What man do I want to become? A lot of things got in the way of that when, I actually entered adulthood, and now there's nothing holding me back. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care what the excuse is. I'm going to do it. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no roof on life. There's absolutely no roof on the things that you can do. And if someone tells you that you can't do something, bullshit. Bullshit. Like Henry Ford said, they who says they can't is usually right. And I'm totally botching this, by the way. Or it's they who says they can and they who says they can't are both usually right. So if you tell yourself you can't do something, if you let someone tell you that you can't do something and you actually believe it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care what people say. It's not going to happen. Versus, let's say someone tells you you can do something and you do believe it. Then you have a chance. Yeah, you can probably do it. But when you tell yourself, there's no other option. There's no other option. There's no direction I can go. My back is against the wall and I have to make this work. This seems impossible. I don't know how it's going to happen, but this is the only way that this will work. And if you don't believe in yourself, then you're never going to get through whatever it is you're going through. So you have to tell yourself that you have the strength, you have the will, the power, the discipline, and all the tools that you need to get to where you want to be in life. You have to actually believe that. Even if you don't have that right now, you have to believe it. Think about it. If I want to wake up and, pour myself a glass of water, the glass of water isn't poured for me. That is a desire that I want to wake up and pour myself a glass of water because I need it. And I'm making a conscious decision to execute what I want. So in literal terms, thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. Think about what you want and go get it. It's that simple. It's that simple. And that is why I truly believe that, if people may watch this video and, like, oh, this guy's crazy, he's probably not going to make it. I don't care. I don't care. Because I know with God, all things are possible, and I will do whatever it takes to get to where I need to be, and no one's going to stop me. And all I want in life is for people to have the same mindset that I do. I do not want anyone to go through what I went through. I had to go through that because I was fucking up. I learned the hard way. And I'm just very stubborn and hard-headed, and I just I think something bad had to happen to me to change my life for the better. That's just how it had to happen. I don't think that people need to die, to change their life, but the lesson is still the same. Things won't work out until you change something. And that is the whole message I'm trying to preach. I'm changing my life, and I hope that if you know that things, I hope you know that whatever you're going through, it can be overcome. I promise you. I know it may seem impossible, but I promise you, if you believe it will happen, it will come true. But the most important part is you have to believe in it, because when you believe in something, everything else will follow. Everything that you do in your everyday life will follow. You'll notice things starting to change around you. Your energy will just start changing. So if you have a goal, whatever it takes to get to that goal, you're going to do. So as long as you're putting your energy to, the things that are going to get you to where you want to be, then you'll get there. Cut out the distractions, cut out the negativity, cut out the counter intentions from the universe. Stop telling yourself that you can't do something. Stop listening to people that tell you that you can't do something. Stop hanging around the people that you shouldn't be hanging around. It's that simple. I know it's hard because we're preconditioned to be around people. And whenever you're not around someone, it's lonely, it's tough, I know. But I promise you that you will look back at your life and kick yourself in the head for not getting out of your situation sooner. And the only way that you're going to do that is by doing the hardest thing that you'll ever have to do, which is step out of your comfort zone. Stop being comfortable. You need to put yourself through hell. I mean, not literally, but you need to feel some pain. If you want something bad enough, you will get it. If you want something that bad, if it's hurting you that bad, you will do something about it. I heard this guy was saying, he has this old dog, and he lays on the floor every day and he just whines, but he lays in his favorite spot. And one of this guy's friends comes over and he sees the dog, laying in his favorite spot, and he's whining. And he's like, why is he whining? And he's like, because he's lazy, he doesn't want to get up. And he's like, that's surely not why he's whining. Obviously that's his favorite spot. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to move, because he's comfortable there. But what's actually going on is that there's a nail that's actually puncturing his skin. And he's whining, but he's too lazy to get up. I mean, mind you, like, I know this dog is old or whatever, like, I love dogs. But if you are too comfortable in one spot, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you besides that you have to feel some pain. So if something doesn't hurt bad enough for you to change, then, it's just not going to happen. Just like when that nail, is hurting that dog, it's not hurting that dog that bad. Like, that dog can tolerate the pain enough so that he can keep sleeping and just lay there all day and be complacent and stay in one spot. That's all he does, is he stays in one spot. Imagine how many people stay in one spot their whole life because they're comfortable. They're like, oh, this is okay. I'm fine with this. This is enough. But then they complain, like there's all these things that they want to change about their life and they're not doing anything about it. You know why? Because they don't have anything pushing them to get up and make it happen. You need to be sick and tired of what you're going through to actually make something happen. Maybe that's not pain, but you need to say, this is enough. And I'm going to change my life. Once you find that reason, I promise you that everything will unfold in front of you. You won't even have to think about what you need to do. All you need to do is write down what you want to accomplish, how you're going to do it, and just do it. It's that simple. And success is proven by results. So my word of advice is set goals that are small enough that you can achieve instantly, and then start setting bigger ones. Because once you tell yourself that, hey, I've done this before, there's no reason I can't do this. There's no reason I can't do this again. I've done something that I've never done before, and I succeeded when I thought I couldn't. There's no reason that I can't do the same thing over and over and over again. Like I said, life has no roof. There are no limits. And that's how I am choosing to live my life. And I hope to God that my message spreads the positivity, the motivation, the discipline, the consistency that people need in their lives. And as long as just someone hears this and it motivates them to actually change their life, then as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy. I don't need anything more. I will feel fulfilled. But I know that God put me on this earth to hopefully change lives. And now I know I'm going to do it. So now for the rest of my life, I'm going to document everything that I want to do, that I need to, for lack of a better term, turn my life around. And I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to make mistakes. But I'm human. So are you. We all make mistakes. We're all afraid. But we don't have to stay the same. All you have to do is make a decision. Thoughts become things. All you have to do is see what you want and go get it. Just do it. Don't even think. Don't look up on YouTube or like a tutorial, whatever, like I don't have the right tools to write this. No excuses. Whatever your heart feels that you need to do, just do it. Even if you fuck up. Even if you're embarrassed. Even if it doesn't work out. The only way that you will actually truly fail is if you give up. Because I know I'm probably going to fail more than half of, the percent of the things that I'm going to try and pursue. But that's the beauty of it, because I don't know these things. So it's only natural to learn it and grow from it. And that excites me. I want to be called a dumbass. I mean, I don't want that, but I want to know that I'm capable of so much more. And that's what's exciting to me. Because I can't express this enough. You could be anything you want. Just believe in yourself. Like I said, I always wanted to be the person who was never for me growing up. So when I post this video, I'm not expecting it to really go anywhere, but my DMs are open. if you have a testimony, if you have some things that you've been through, or you're just kind of trying to contemplate, like what direction in life you're trying to go. I mean, I'm not a guru, I'm not anything special, but I am someone who's willing to listen and talk to you because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel stuck, and what I can provide to you is clarity because I never had that before. So don't think that you're intruding on like my boundaries or my space or whatever. I know I'm a stranger, but I would love to meet you and I would love to talk to you because that is what I'm meant to do. So yeah, I'm gonna try my hardest to still stay consistent and not really care about like how fast this grows because I know if I just keep doing the right thing that I will reach the right audience. And yeah, I hope you guys support me. I hope you guys learn something. And most of all, I hope you guys believe in yourselves because that's all it takes. All you have to do is believe.